Hello, and welcome back to the channel. As you know, yesterday was the beginning of the free agency period. And in day one, there was a lot of movement around the NFL, but not much on the Ravens front. We re signed Justice Hill, and that pretty much was it on the front of signing people because we are kind of strapped for cash with this Lamar situation and the franchise tag. We are up against the wall as we almost always are, but we'll see how this plays out. I will be bringing you the latest updates and analysis as we follow Lamar during this free agency period. Now, not too many teams have called because he was able to speak with teams as of 4 p.m. yesterday because he did not have an agent, so he had to wait the extra 2 days. Now, apparently his phone has not been ringing off the hook or everything has been kept under wraps. Most teams have made quarterback moves, but there's one team in particular that may be in on the Lamar sweepstakes.
So, if you're the Colts sitting at fourth overall, why wouldn't you decide to call Lamar Jackson later today?
And as you've heard it there, it would be the Indianapolis Colts. Now, yesterday they released Matt Ryan. They also traded Stephon Gilmore to create some cap space. Now, is this cap space for a specific reason? Are they gearing up to make a run at Lamar? Who's to say? But they do not have a franchise quarterback on their roster as they have Sam Ellinger and Nick Foles. Not two quarterbacks I would be confident in going into the season with. In the upcoming draft, the Colts have the fourth overall pick. Now, it's been said quite frequently, which I'm not happy about, is that should the Colts settle with the fourth best quarterback in the draft, or should they trade that fourth and next year's first for Lamar Jackson? To me, simple question, simple answer. You trade for Lamar. I mean, forget the cost. We all know that the Ursays are not beloved in Baltimore. This would not be a popular move since they already stole a team from us in the middle of the night. Will they do the same with our quarterback? Now, the owner of the Colts, he's a malcontent amongst the NFL owners as he's had real people problems. He hasn't had a bunch of billionaire problems. He's had real people problems, and he marches to the beat of his own drum. So would he say, you know what? To heck with that collusion. I'm getting the quarterback that I need. I know that Lamar is going to generate revenue. He's going to generate primetime games. He's going to fill seats in the stadium. So why wouldn't I sign him? I think that Irsay would give him $300 million, no problem, just to be spiteful to the rest of the owners in the league. Now, for me, as you all know, if you follow me, I believe that Stephen Ross, the owner of the Miami Dolphins, is that OG. Now, if he acquires a first-round pick this year, watch out, because you have to have a first-round pick this year, first-round pick next year. Now, if nothing goes on before the draft, teams can wait till afterwards to try to get a deal done and trade directly with the Ravens to get Lamar, which would kind of circumvent them having that first-round pick this year. But let's not take Miami out the equation just yet. Also, the Washington Commanders. They have Sam Howell. They just traded for Jacoby Brissett, which was one of the quarterbacks the Ravens were looking into, as Baker Mayfield was as well, but they signed to the Commanders and the Tampa Bay Bucks respectively. Now, I'm not saying that the Ravens don't believe in Tyler Huntley, but they were pursuing veteran backup quarterbacks just in case Lamar left. So they tendered Tyler Huntley with the first right of refusal tag, which guarantees him $2.6 million for the year, but other teams can sign him. Now, if another team came in and said, hey, I'll give you $5 million. I doubt that the Ravens would match that, and we would be on the search again for a backup quarterback. Is Anthony Brown ready? I'm not sure that he is. He looked good in his limited action, but him going as a backup for a full season, or possibly even fighting for a starting job with the Ravens, sounds ludicrous. But listen, nothing is out the realm of possibilities with this team because we don't know what their plan is going forward. We don't know if they really want to keep Lamar. Is this a ploy to keep his money down? If they just want to move on from him but make it seem like they're putting in every effort to keep him, no one's to say. And as far as the rest of the Ravens restricted free agents go, Huntley was the only one that they tendered. Now, that doesn't mean that they won't try to go after the rest of them later on, but right now, with the cap situation, they just can't afford to re-sign a bunch of restricted free agents and try to make moves. So does that mean Tristan Castillo-Colon, is he going to move on? The long snapper Nick Moore hasn't been tendered, and Geno Stone. He actually started some games with Williams out, and he played fairly well. Now, we've cut him a couple times before. Is this going to be the final straw for him to say, you know what, let me go to a team that values my play, that's going to keep me around and kind of give me that stability that most of these players look for? So, if we are looking for that backup QB, could we possibly bring back Joe Flacco? Would we go with a Matt Ryan, or would we go with a cheaper option? We kind of have to put some money away for that rainy day fund, because with this team, you never know with injuries. It is a part of our DNA. Every year, something goes down. Now, it just seems like every other day we have more things to deal with this team. Lamar, as you all know, he masks a lot of deficiencies with this club. We just lost our starting guard, Ben Powers, to the Denver Broncos, I think on an average of 13 mil per year. So that is another position that we have to replace. Now, we only have 5 draft picks at the moment, and we need wide receivers, not just one. We need cornerbacks, because for some reason they love bringing in a bevy of quarterbacks year in and year out. Now we have to replace guard. Is Ben Cleveland going to be ready to start? What are they going to do with Kevin Zeitler? I possibly think that we also need a right tackle, because Morgan Moses to me is a backup. He is not a starter. We have a lot of holes to fill. Now, speaking of offensive linemen, our old buddy Orlando Brown Jr. just signed with the Cincinnati Bengals. Was that intentional? Is he trying to kind of throw shots at the Ravens? Who knows? But they offered him money. Maybe not the money that he was essentially looking for, but they did sign him to a 4-year, I believe, $64 million contract, which is essentially a 2-year, $43 million front-loaded contract, because they know Joe Burrow is coming up. T. Higgins needs to be re-signed. Jamar Chase is going to be coming up in a few years as well. So they kind of have to push that money forward to be able to sign all of these pieces. Orlando Brown was adamant that he be a left tackle, and I believe that's what Cincinnati is going to make him. What are they going to do with Lyle Collins? Is he going to be the right side? Who is to say? But for one thing, you may not like the Cincinnati Bengals. They may be our rivals, but you cannot say that they are not doing everything that they can to protect Joe Burrow. When they drafted Jamar Chase, everybody said, oh, no, you should have drafted an offensive lineman. But over the last few years, they brought in Alex Karras, they brought in Kappa, they brought in Lyle Collins. Now they're bringing in Orlando Brown Jr. to help solidify that offensive line and give Joe Burrow even more opportunities to be dangerous and sit back in the pocket. The Ravens could take a page from the Cincinnati Bengals, which to me is laughable, because the Cincinnati Bengals over the last few decades have been the laughing stock, along with Cleveland, of the NFC North. But they've turned things around. They've got their franchise quarterback, and they're going to be making it run. Orlando Brown Jr., I salute you. Get your money. Ravens, take note. And last but not least, let's turn to something that we talk about year in and year out, it seems, for the last 20-something odd years. It's the wide receiver market. What are the Ravens going to do at wide receiver? Now, one of the big names that's been put out there is Jerry Jeudy, which carries, I believe, a $2.6 million cap hit for the next season. But I'm sure he's going to be looking for a long-term contract. Now, that name has been brandished around for a few months, ever since right before the trade deadline. But it seems like the Denver Broncos want a first-round pick for Jerry Jeudy. I wouldn't give it up for him, because to me, I'm not going to call him injury prone, but he has missed games throughout his career. I believe he has yet to have a 1,000-yard season, and I just don't think that he would be reliable enough. We have enough injuries in that wide receiver room to not count on somebody that can't play a full season. Or you could look to the Denver Broncos, to his teammate Courtland Sutton, who seems not to be happy with Denver right now. Is the tweet that he put out being he wants to be somewhere where he's wanted, or he feels wanted. I don't think he feels valued by the Denver Broncos. Maybe we could take him as well. I think he may be a better suited wide receiver for us. We would finally get that big-bodied wide receiver that we need. He is a number one, but he has had a few injury concerns. I mean, I'm not too worried about it, depending upon what they would want for him. The wide receiver market is slim pickings right now, as we should have addressed the wide receiver market last season, and we would not be in this predicament of having to go out and find these bargain basement bin wide receivers to fill a need. Because once again, we only have 5 draft picks, but we have a lot of needs. And to me, this wide receiver class in the draft is not as strong as it was in years past. So what are the Ravens going to do? I think trading for a number one wide receiver or wide receivers for future picks would be the way to go. And it would show Lamar, listen, we are trying to make change for you. Like, listen, I know I've told you in the past, I'm not going to cheat anymore. I'm not going to hang out in these streets. I promised you that I was going to be a better man. And this is the time for them to prove it to their significant other that I'm serious about this relationship. Like, I want to make it work, and I'm doing everything in my power to show you I'm a changed man. I'm showing you I'm about that work. I'm showing you that I'm here for you in all of your needs. And if they do that, maybe that might just have Lamar take a little bit less money if they're building around him. Because for me, why would I take less money when you're not giving me anything to work with? You want to talk about my numbers, what I did and did not do, what I have and have not accomplished in this league, but you have not helped me to be successful. Now I'm tired of everybody saying, oh, well, the Ravens tailor-made their offense around Lamar Jackson and his skill set. They did not. They tailor-made this offense around their limited ability to kind of formulate a passing scheme. The limited ability of this coaching staff to adjust on the fly. We've had 4 years of Lamar starting, and no significant improvements have been made on the offensive side of the ball. So I believe if they go out here and show Lamar, look, I'm here for you. I want to work with you. I believe in you. This will go a long way to keeping Lamar in Baltimore. Once again, I thank you all for dropping by the channel, hanging out with me, getting this news. Make sure that you come back and get further news on Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens, and other things going around the NFL. Don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe, comment, share this video, help your boy grow. And until next time, I'm out.